Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. So let me just go ahead and get this out right now. Like and subscribe. Consider donating to the channel. Now look, what is the chance, or what are the chances that Franklin somehow miraculously defeats Anthony Joshua? If you ask me my opinion, I'm going to tell you slim to none, okay? Let's be real here, all right? Now, since this fight's been announced, let me tell you, man, I'm truly trying not to say nothing inappropriate, but since the fight's been announced, I've been seeing a lot of comments. And surprisingly, there are people who are of the opinion that Jermain Franklin is going to defeat Anthony Joshua. But not just defeat him, knock Anthony Joshua out. Now to that, I have to say something. So I kindly request that you hold your horses and don't take it to the stupid. Jermain Franklin's gonna get he's gonna get decapitated in that ring. He's gonna get destroyed. He doesn't stand a chance against Anthony Joshua. And I'm gonna tell you why. Not because I'm biased to Anthony Joshua. Anyone who knows me or follows this channel knows my two favorite fighters, Zab Judah and Chris Bird, right? I like boxing. But let me tell you the problem with this. I understand Franklin fought Dillian White. I understand a lot of people felt that the fight was closer than what they expected. Some people felt Franklin won the fight. What I'm going to tell you is Franklin lost the fight. However, he earned respect from a lot of people in the boxing community because they really didn't expect him to go the distance with a guy like Dillian White. Now, whether you like Dillian White or not, Dillian White is battle tested. He's had to earn everything that he received. No one gave Dillian White anything. And one thing Dillian White has proven is, one, he's tough. Two, he does have some boxing IQ. He does have some ring awareness, right? He is getting better. And over the years, he has gotten better. And that's to be commended for someone who started boxing so late, especially coming from a kickboxing background, right? But I'm going to tell you this. As far as Franklin and the showing he put forth against Dillian White, understand this. I don't think it's so much what Franklin did in that fight opposed to what Dillian White chose not to do. Now, I'm going to tell you, Dillian White changed trainers. He's with Buddy McGirt. Buddy McGirt, look, Buddy McGirt was a great fighter. And what he did with Arturo Gatti we can praise him for that. But the Arturo Gatti days are over. When I saw Buddy McGirt sitting back when they were having the glove controversy, Franklin and Dillian White, the two different teams, and how Buddy McGirt was just kind of sitting back like, I don't get involved in that crap. And the energy he was emitting, the way I interpreted it, right, in my opinion, was that Buddy McGirt was just more or less collecting a check. Now, when I watched Dillian White get in the ring, I didn't like it. I was like, why isn't he fighting and being the aggressive Dillian White that we know? The chip on the shoulder, you know what I'm saying? The guy who's kind of on the edge, the whole what is he going to do next type mentality. So when he got in the ring and he was fighting, I immediately saw that this was no longer the ferocious lion that we had grown accustomed to seeing. Whether you like Dillian White or not, you like his attitude or not, whether you think that he's one of the top heavyweights or not, look, you got to at least say, if you're being fair, that if Dillian White hits somebody with that left hook cleanly, they're out of here. Doesn't matter who it is. Dillian White's left hook. Now, I don't want to take it to the stupid, but if he hits you with that left hook, kind of like getting hit with a water right hand. You know, I'm just saying. If he catches you with that, he has the strength and power, right? God gifted when it comes to that left hand in particular, to put you out with one shot. So when I saw him in there with Franklin, I was like, why isn't he trying to get these shots off? Now, I'm going to tell you what it is. I personally don't think it's what Franklin was doing. I think it's the fact that he was, in transition from one trainer to another, and Buddy McGirt toned the lion down. He toned the carnivore down. He no longer had him eating meat. He was more or less trying to turn him into a herbivore. You know what I mean? Walk past the wounded gazelle and go jump on his head of cabbage. And I don't think trainers should do that to fighters where their strength is being aggressive. Now, I'm not saying in order to be a lion, to be an aggressive fighter, mean you go walk in front of a damn bus. That's not what I'm saying. That don't mean just walk out there and use your face for defense like Edgar Berlanga. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, sometimes, man, if you're an aggressive fighter and that's got you success, when you try to come in, it's one thing to make refinements and tweaks, but when you overhaul their style, that's where you have problems. So I think what happened with Dillian Whyte is he was having his style overhauled in a very short duration of time. And when he got in the ring, to me, he just looked lost. He was going against what comes naturally, what he looks to do instinctively as the lion he is. And as a result, the fight was closer than what it should have been. But you saw towards the end of the fight when Dillian Whyte decided, you know what, F this. I'm letting my hands go. You saw he had a lot of success and Franklin was in trouble. So now that being said, does Franklin deserve to be praised? The 989 assassin. Yeah, man, Franklin can fight. I've been watching Franklin for a while. And I've always said, man, this guy here, he can make some noise. I never felt that he could really get in there and compete with the elite. But I say he can make some noise. And he earned the right to fight Anthony Joshua. So when you look at Anthony Joshua, although he's coming off of 2 back-to-back defeats, let's be real. The back-to-back defeats to Usyk for Anthony Joshua, they were to Usyk. And Anthony Joshua was going through, in those 2 fights, the same thing what Dillian Whyte was going through in this fight with Franklin. A transition period. Having his style overhauled, not tweaked or refined, overhauled to fight and do something that, in my opinion, doesn't come instinctively. Now, I'm not saying Anthony Joshua can't box, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. The man earned a gold medal in the Olympics. There's something there. But we all know when Anthony Joshua's on the front foot, that's where he's the most effective. And he wasn't really on the front foot against Usyk in those first 2 fights, and he lost. When he was on the front foot and wasn't afraid of committing to his shots, he had a lot of success. But Usyk, really we shouldn't even be comparing Usyk and Franklin. But that's the only really measuring stick that we have. But that being said, an Anthony Joshua that fought Usyk beats Franklin any day of the week. Now Anthony Joshua is over here training with Derek James. Let's be real. Anthony Joshua is not with Buddy McGirt. Anthony Joshua is not with Teofimo Sr., right? He's with someone who has 2 of the best fighters in boxing right now. And, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I think he may be the only trainer that has 2 maybe unified, one undisputed and one unified. But let's just say unified. He may be the only trainer that has 2 unified champions in his underneath his tutelage. But I could be wrong. But this is just me thinking out loud. I didn't do the research, but I'm trying to think who else has 2 unified, much less undisputed, but 2 unified champions under their tutelage right now. I can't call off the top of my head. But I'm going to tell you this thing with AJ and Franklin. Okay, good. Franklin put on a good showing against Dillian Whyte. It is what it is. AJ's going to knock him out. But I'm going to tell you when this fight between AJ and Franklin should have happened. AJ and Franklin should have happened when AJ lost to Usyk. That's when the fight should have happened. That would have been a good fight for AJ. To come, fight Franklin, work on whatever it is that Robert Garcia and the other guy was trying to teach him. And then go in there and, basically have a glorified sparring match where you're working on the new things, and trying to implement some of those new tools and tricks and going to the body and changing levels and all the things that he was doing, right? It was good stuff they showed him. I just think it was information overload, in my opinion, especially going there with a guy like Usyk, who just seems to be one step ahead of anyone he faces, right? But then you see now, it is what it is. So what's the reality of Franklin beating Joshua? Again, I'm gonna say I don't think Franklin stands a chance. And I always say, look, it's not the best boxer who wins the fight. It's the fighter who boxes the best on that night. But come on, let's be real, man. Franklin, 6'2", 70, 6-inch reach, 5-inch reach, something like that. Maybe 72-inch reach. Joshua, 6'6", 6'7", closer to an 80-inch reach. Talk about speed, Joshua has the advantage. Power, Joshua has the advantage. Ring IQ, Joshua has the advantage. Experience, Joshua has the advantage. I mean, when you go down, if you do like a stoplight chart and you list Joshua and you list Franklin, all the green is going to be over there in the column with Anthony Joshua. There's not going to be any green for Franklin. Now, before I end this video, I have to say this to those viewers out there who are watching this video. And again, like and subscribe, consider donating, right? For those of you who are saying Jermain Franklin versus Anthony Joshua is basically Anthony Joshua against Andy Ruiz, one all over again. To that I say, and I mean this, respectfully, hold your horses. Don't take it to the stupid. Andy Ruiz, come on. I'll put it to you this way. Who wins between Andy Ruiz and Franklin? Andy Ruiz would demolish him, man. Now, Franklin has a good chin, but no way he beats Andy Ruiz. I don't care what anyone says. Jermain Franklin is a B-level fighter, man. He'll never get to the... I think it's very difficult, and it's an extremely lofty goal for him to think he's actually going to go on and win a title. I just don't see him winning a world title at heavyweight. I don't see it. And to be honest with you, Jermain Franklin, we're talking about Anthony Joshua coming off of 2 back-to-back defeats. If he was to lose, which he's not, right? If he was to lose to Franklin, they say Anthony Joshua's career is over. But my thing is, okay, if that's what you want to say. But what happens if Jermain Franklin loses? Then he's coming off of 2 back-to-back defeats. But I don't think his career is over. Because my understanding, and again, it's a lot of rumors and stuff, but my understanding is Franklin's making a couple million for this fight. 2 to 3 million, something like that. Maybe more. But that is outstanding. So when Franklin loses, I don't think we can really sit here and feel that bad for him. Because to be honest with you, he actually, in my opinion, has already won. The fact that he's been able to change his family's life and his life with this payday. And although I think him getting in the ring and hanging with Dillian White has a lot to do with what Dillian White failed to do in the ring because of him trying to follow the game plan with his coach, you gotta say, you gotta clap your hands and say good job to Franklin for understanding the assignment and going in there and leaving it all on the line. Because that effort that he put forth, that performance, is what earned him this opportunity. Now, again, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I don't think he beats AJ. And I want to make sure I underscore that. But what I'm telling you is I think he's already won. Because I'm not sure he would have ended up in position to make $4 million. I just don't think so. Even when you think about Franklin fighting a guy like Jared Anderson or, Richard Torres Jr. and those guys that I talk a lot about. And there's some other heavyweights out there. I'm talking about up-and-comers. Even him getting there with a Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce is not making that kind of money yet. But to just think that Franklin in there with those guys, I just don't think he can handle it. And I'm not trying to bad talk him. I like him, nice guy. But when he goes on record and he says, when it comes to Anthony Joshua, he's going to put Anthony Joshua to sleep. Come on, man. Now, for those of you who are saying, well, everybody looked at Andy Ruiz when he got the opportunity to fight AJ and no one gave him a chance. And to that, I say, it's because they don't follow boxing. When Anthony Joshua got ready to fight Andy Ruiz, and people were laughing at Andy Ruiz, talking about who's this guy? Oh, Anthony Joshua is muscled, Andy Ruiz is mashed potatoes, and teasing him. I was sitting there saying, y'all are crazy. This man can fight. But I was actually watching. I've been watching him for years, man. A lot of people weren't watching him. They didn't know who he was. And I saw I watched all his fights. But I saw that fight Andy Ruiz had like a month or so before he reached out to Eddie Hearn and said, hey, I'll fill in for Gerald Big Baby Miller. And I remember I saw that fight. Fought the big European fella. Almost killed him. And I remember saying, he beats everyone. That's what I used to say. I said, that little fat, funny-looking guy beats everyone. And then when he got the opportunity, I was trying to tell people, this is not an easy fight. But that being said, I haven't seen Franklin in those kind of fights. I haven't seen him do anything as amazing and impressive as Andy Ruiz when it comes to combination punching. Franklin lets his hands go, but he's not a fluid combination puncher and a devastating puncher like Andy Ruiz. So let's just make sure we frame this the right way, right? Let's not get carried away. So that being said, as far as what is the chance or the chances that Franklin defeats AJ, I think it's Mission Impossible. Tom Cruise, you know what I'm saying? Mission Impossible. I don't think he beats him. And anyone out there who's saying that he fights like Andy Ruiz and it's going to be Andy Ruiz, AJ1 all over again, to that I say, yo, hold your horses, man. I don't think so. But that being said, good luck to him. But I think Franklin's career will continue after he takes this loss, because it's nothing wrong with taking a loss against Dillian White and Anthony Joshua. But if for some reason Anthony Joshua loses, he could be in bad shape. He could be in bad shape career-wise. I don't think it means it's over, but I just think he falls from being now. He has an opportunity to get back to being at the top of the heavyweight division. But he could end up falling down and being classified more as a gatekeeper, being on the level of a Dillian White, a Chisora, who else? Like a Luis Ortiz. Like he could fall to being on that kind of level. Because right now, it's Usyk, AJ, Fury, and Wilder. They're the big dogs. But if AJ was to lose, which I don't think he will, he falls out of that. Instead of it being like a four-headed monster, it becomes a three-headed monster. But we'll see. That being said, y'all keep cool. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe. Shout out to the veterans. And I'm in the breeze.